One of the biggest mistakes I've made over the past 5 years running my business, which led to losing all of my money, technically I spent it all, and having to start from scratch, was not respecting the process. When I first started my agency, I was doing outreach and actually landed quite a few clients pretty quickly. I was submitting Upwork proposals all day, every day, and pretty much out of the gate started booking sales calls pretty easily. And since we weren't charging very much at the time, around like $500 to $750 a month, it wasn't very difficult to close clients. And they weren't very high quality, but it was still money in the bank and showed proof of concept with what I was doing. Plus, my business partner at the time, Courtney, he would take the sales calls as he already had a few years of experience in that area while I was completely new to it. On my end, all I had to do was submit some Upwork proposals, calls got booked, Courtney took the calls, closed the client, and I got paid. It gave me a very dangerous perspective. This is easy. Since it started working so quickly, I immediately started believing that landing clients was easy, and whenever I needed to go get more, all I had to do was submit some proposals and I'd land a few clients within a few days. There's a few times that I literally would submit some proposals one day, get a call booked the next day, and that client ended up signing on. I remember one time, I think it was the fastest we ever landed a client, and I had submitted some proposals one day. The call got booked in for the next day, and on the call we closed the client for around $2,000 a month. Hopefully you can see why I got the idea that it was easy, but trust me, that belief changed pretty quickly, which I'll get to that in a bit. But anyway, this led me to spending my money just as fast as it was coming in, thinking it was okay because I could always just go make more whenever I needed to. I remember at the time I bought the new $500 AirPod Max headphones, a ton of parts for my RC car, which came out to around $1,000, a $1,500 Diamondback rifle that I could shoot on my family's property, a $1,000 DJI drone, and a maxed out $3,000 13-inch MacBook Pro, and a lot more things that I honestly didn't need. Now, I wasn't completely wasteful with my money because over the years I've invested in the neighborhood of $40,000 on mentors, coaches, online courses, and things like that, learning from those who have already succeeded with what I've been aiming to do. Now, I'll never regret investing in self-improvement and education. However, I've learned to invest more wisely and not be wasteful with my money. Now, aside from the education and material things, I also spent a significant amount of money on my travels to South Africa. I've been there a total of like 5 times now, starting back in 2021 when I was 17. My first trip to Johannesburg wasn't as expensive, but I still spent a significant amount staying in multiple really nice Airbnbs. Now, my future trips to Cape Town were very different. My first time in Cape Town, I did a lot of jumping around and stayed in over 14 different Airbnbs throughout my 3-month-long trip. That wasn't cheap. Now, my second time in Cape Town, I stayed in the same place for the entire 3 months. However, I got sick of Ubering everywhere, so I decided I needed to buy a motorcycle for transportation. I could have easily bought a $1,500 moped, but instead I decided to go all out and get a KTM Duke 390cc, which costed me upwards of $7,000. Now, my last time in Cape Town, I was much smarter with my spending, but the last week I was there, my street bike got stolen. And no, my dumbass didn't get insurance. Anyway, my main point is that I was very careless with my spending, and I was living it up, thinking it was always going to be easy to land clients and make more money. I was living in the moment and was not thinking about or preparing for the future at all. But my perspective completely changed when things started getting harder and harder, and I would go weeks and sometimes months without landing a single client. I'd be working my ass off, submitting proposals, sending cold emails, sending cold DMs, running paid ads, hopping on endless sales calls, but could not seem to land a single paying client. Now, after reality hit me like a freight train, I finally realized that I needed to respect the process and be a lot smarter moving forward. I believe it's important to have confidence and truly believe that you can do it, but only as long as you respect the process and understand that it's not supposed to be easy, and if it is right now, it probably won't last forever. When it's easy and everything is working, keep riding that wave and get as much out of it as you can, but understand that it probably won't last forever, and it's important to prepare for when things get tough. I don't regret anything I did over the past 5 years, whether something was a logically good or bad idea, because it added to the story of my life and became a learning experience that has helped me become who I am today. I'd much rather be able to tell these stories and have all those memories instead of sharing how I hibernated at my desk for the last 5 years, saving and investing every dollar that I made. Would that have been smarter and set me up better financially? Yeah, most likely, but that's not a very interesting story to tell. Plus, as Steve Jobs put it, you can't connect the dots looking forwards, you can only connect them looking backwards. notes. Anyway, hopefully that video was helpful, and hopefully you're able to avoid the many mistakes that I've made over the years so that you can set yourself up better for the future. And by the way, this is not financial advice or anything like that. I simply wanted to share my story so that I could show you what the price of arrogance looks like. But with that being said, feel free to shoot me a follow on Instagram. I'll have the link in the description below so you can check that out, where I'm posting daily content like this, if not better. But with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.